no intro per se, just like it's a very candid just chat about the way the world is.
No, I agree with you, man. It's a scary, scary world we're living in right now.
I was just saying to Emily's dad, we were doing all the washing up and stuff. I took the bins out. You take them out to the curb as per usual, and there was some guys in trucks, doing the day job, sorting all the oil out and whatnot. And there's just this feeling of unease because you're not. Human contact has essentially just been outlawed.
Yeah, well, it hasn't been outlawed, just heavily, heavily, heavily discouraged.
I know, and this is what weirds me out about it. Is like, people are self-isolating. That's fine, and we're being urged to, we're being urged not to go out unless it's essential. So for like food or hospital stuff or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I know, as like a freelancer, that my job is to stay indoors.
Yeah.
Literally nothing has changed in that department, but there's a feeling of unease with that.
It's like life isn't just work. Like, there's all sorts of things that you might be missing out on now.
Yeah. This is before when they were talking about the whole no social interaction thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, like, physical interaction with anyone in the outside world, which makes it sound bleaker than it is. Or as bleak as it is. Bing popped up and he was like, we're doing a little meet-up thing in April for Easter. That's probably not going to happen now.
That's most likely not going to happen, no.
On the news and stuff, there's so many conflicting things. Like, people think, oh, this will be over in the next few weeks. Some people are even being as drastic as to say, it might not be done till the end of the year. Some people are saying it might not be done till, 4 months from now. And I'm like, I just want a clear number. I understand it's a virus that we don't know anything about as much as other ones, but the world's kind of falling apart. Like, cinemas are closing. It's gone from no large gatherings of 500 people or more to being like 5 or 6. It's mental. Yeah, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I think I've heard that year one. It's like talks of vaccine. First off, that's incredible. Because, like, this pretty much global pandemic at this point has people who relatively could create a vaccine in so short a time is amazing, and I commend the people who are working towards that. But still, on an individual perspective, that's a long time.
Yeah, because there's 2 points. Well, there's 3 points in time, and 2 of them you start realizing how long a year is, and that's before a year starts and when a year's just gone. But when during a year, when you're doing stuff, time flies by. But we're being restricted, and we can't do certain things now. So we can't do cinema trips, for example. We can't, go out and see our mates, go around for a drink, or we can't go out for like a picnic, because Emily's mum's birthday's coming up, and we were going to have like an outdoor picnic, but we're probably just going to have that inside now, which kind of takes away some of the glam of it.
I heard this one thing on the news that, like, they're not discouraging going outside, they're discouraging social interaction. So as long as you keep it within the people who then I don't know, it should be alright. Don't hold me to that, but I'm pretty sure that as long as you don't interact with that many kind of like people, which is sad, but
yeah, one thing did make me laugh though, and I know a lot of this isn't much to laugh about, but this particular thing made me laugh. There was a picture of like Congress or something, whatever the American thing is where they all make the decisions. It was like 12 or so people, and it was like, you shouldn't be in gatherings of more than 6. And I'm like, practice what you preach, maybe.
One thing that's been amusing me is because it was the Austria, I think, that started the no gatherings of more than 5, and there's memes that have been made about it, as the internet always does, about families with 6 children, and they're just got someone with a gun just being like, I'm sorry. I personally am on the side of the people who think that, I definitely think it's going to last about 1 or 2 months at least.
Yeah.
But I do think that's probably whereabouts it'll start to peak. I don't think, because it's a very fast kind of like spreading disease.
Yeah.
And as it's a fast spreading disease, you recover relatively quickly. The risk is the fact that you're, possibly passing it on to these people.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder, no pretense that, like, if I got the disease, I personally would probably be alright. But it's my loved ones I'm worried about.
Yeah. There's 2 sides to it. There's, like, the status of the disease itself, and then there's the precautions. The precautions are what are taking up most of this time and what are stopping things from happening and delaying things, but at the end of the day, the status of it is that a vaccine is being developed. China's getting much better, considering that that's where it all started. People are recovering at quite a large rate. Yeah, people are dying, but that's a bad thing. But the news is what kind of hammers that in. They only really report on majority of the bad stuff because that's how they get their money.
The thing is, because I was looking at statistics last night, global statistics of COVID-19 cases. I'll link you to it. In fact, you can put it in the description of this video if you want.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing. I encourage anybody who is confused about what's going on just to kind of like look at it, because it's very honest and it updates really regularly. But essentially, I was looking it up, and in the UK, last time I checked anyway, I'm pretty sure that we have 2% of the COVID-19 cases on Earth, and the precautions that are being made are to stop us from becoming the 23% that places like Italy have.
Yeah, because they're under like full-on lockdown. I mean, Spain's on lockdown now as well. Yeah,
France is on lockdown. I've got a French friend, Victoire. I hope she's alright, but like, she's been telling me like the people are. It's so regimented. Like European, especially mainland European life is so regimented now because it's necessity. Like.
Yeah.
It's a global pandemic.
Yeah, I remember. I made sure to put this on the Future Past thing as like, because and it's also why I'm recording this, because it's something really important and we need to document it. Like, I remember the day that it came up on Twitter, COVID-19 is now a global pandemic. I'm like, Jesus, what? This is, like at the start of it, I was like, oh, is this going to be like swine flu and stuff like that, where it's around for a bit and then nothing happens? But this is something we've never really come across before, even though, a coronavirus is not a new thing. It's like, it's essentially the umbrella name of like different types of flu. It's just this one, COVID-19, is probably the most, dramatic one there is.
I'm pretty sure it's related to SARS, isn't it? Like, I might be wrong.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's just, this one is one where it's going to come out of nowhere, because people are eating bats. I mean, my nan said the other day, she goes, why are they eating bats? There's not much meat on them. Despite
being a so-called kind of like communist country, like there is such inequality in China that like in Wuhan especially, like, probably some poor schmuck had no choice but to eat a bat. I'm entirely middle ground. Like I think that people who are, pretending that it's no big deal are foolish, because, it is a big deal. Like, Europe is on its knees. Asia is on its knees. Like, America is starting to be affected. I'm pretty sure it's I don't know how badly America is affected. Last time I checked, there was only one state that wasn't affected, and that was West Virginia. But who knows how long that'll last?
Yeah.
But at the same time, just because your sporting events and stuff have been cancelled doesn't mean it's the end of the world.
Exactly,
We're absolutely going to get through it. Like it's going to be difficult, and it's going to be upsetting, and it's going to be dark times that we've probably got ahead of us. But we're all going to get through it. It's
been a thing of, oh, let's do this, let's do that, let's plan this, and let's plan that, and now it's like, oh, that's probably not going to happen now. So I think I'm just spitballing here, but I don't think MCM is going to be happening, and I don't think the whole like going into college in May is going to happen.
I'm thinking like probably around the start of the next academic year, so probably around like September, October time. If it's queued up, obviously. But...
this is the thing as well, is that one of the reasons why we picked May is because obviously it would have fit in with MCM quite well. It would have been a nice snug kind of visit, a nice circle. It was also that because in September, Emily and I were thinking of going on holiday to Spain. Now, if it's one of the larger options of timescale, I don't think we're going to be going on holiday.
Yeah, probably unlikely.
It's so weird. Like, I've been saying in my spoiler for Kaiser Future Past, but like, I've been saying how this year is slowly becoming the year where things aren't happening. But because that is a 2-year thing, it'll be like, in Spider-Man 2 when he's having like all the bad luck, and then Ursula comes in. Like 2021 is Ursula with the cake. It's like,
would you like a piece of chocolate cake?
I hope so.
Yeah, and this is the thing. Like next year, I hope this is the reality. And Future Kai, I hope you actually do come back and say this. I think our future selves are going to look back and go, "What are you worrying about? It's fine. It sorts itself out. Yeah, it's all right." But also, there is a very slight and increasing percentage chance that everything outside looks like Blade Runner 2049. And you've got Harrison Ford out there looking for cheese for his dog.
I think the benefit of hindsight gives one a fresh perspective that we're just not in yet,
Yeah.
It's different now that we're in the midst of, this kind of this countrywide shutdown.
Yeah, it's just weird to hear that.
My university shut down.
Oh, really?
Thank fucking God. It's about time that it did. But sent me an email last night saying that they're going to prolong the Easter break. So where we were originally going to break up in about 1 or 2 weeks from now, they've broken us up now, and we're going to come back at the same date we were going to come back. So we've basically just made the Easter break longer.
Okay.
We can still get on with the work that we've set already.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that they're going to kind of give us reduced portfolios, because obviously group work is going to be incredibly difficult to do.
Like I've seen the term no face-to-face a lot with schools and stuff and businesses, and this is a thing that Emily's dad brought up the other day, is that a lot of businesses now are having to switch to working from home, which originally, if people were going to set jobs, they'd be like, "Oh, can I work from home?" And they're like, "No, you can't do that." But now they're gonna, after this whole thing's blown over and we're all at the Winchester having a pint, those people are going to come back to their boss and stuff and go, "How you said we can't work from home? Well, you've just proven that we can." And that's going to tear businesses down. One thing the other day that rang a little bit of a severity bell in my head, whilst I'm also trying to keep calm about it, is one of the background artists I'm working with on a bunch of this self-employed work, their landlord has kicked them out.
What?
Yeah. Or it's in the...
How the fuck are they supposed to get
Exactly. Oh, they're I don't think they've been kicked out yet. They're in the midst of being kicked out. They've been told, you have this amount of time. You need to... you're essentially being evicted. And I'm trying to think of what reason. The only one I can potentially come up with is maybe the landlord can't afford rent, but that's the whole point of a tenant, is they pay the rent for you. So I don't know. Yeah, one of them is going to be homeless soon. So I've just been trying to send support to them, but I know that it's not helping.
That's fucking despicable, man.
And they brought up a thing on the news yesterday, which was I think it was Boris Johnson. Is it Rishi Sunak?
Yeah, he's RMP.
Yeah,
in my area.
So yeah, it's not my area anymore, is it? And then this other old guy.
Area.
Yeah, and I think they said something like businesses that are inoperable at the moment get cash grants or something to kind of to essentially tide them over. I think businesses. I think it's mainly retail, healthcare, and food and stuff, which I guess comes under essentials and stuff like that. That's all getting these cash grants. It's supposed to this thing of oh cool, there's help coming around. But then you also think, where's this money coming from? Why couldn't it have helped us earlier? It goes back to that whole thing of, and I don't mean to derail it, but veterans on the streets.
Yeah.
They're not getting money, they're getting kicked off of their cardboard bed. And stuff like that, and it's oh, but magically we have money now. We're going to put what was it Boris said ages ago? We're going to put 300 million or something into the NHS and plaster it on a bus.
And it was just, you just about time, isn't it?
It was the equivalent of when somebody borrows a quid off you or something, and they're oh, I'll pay you back, I'm good for it. And then a couple of days go by, and you're oh, okay, it's, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. And then 5 weeks go by, and you're hey, do you remember when you owed me that quid? And they're oh yeah, I'll get you it. And people keep going, oh yeah, you owe him £1. Do I? I don't remember doing that. That's essentially what it is now.
I feel sorry for people in retail and doctors.
Yep.
Because those are the two people that aren't going to kind of, they're not going to get a break. People in retail, people still need to fucking eat. And so,
exactly.
they're doing it for fucking stuff. They're risking their lives so we can have basic essentials. And doctors, obviously we need doctors now more than ever, and I think we sometimes forget, like, that they're just as susceptible to these diseases and stuff as we are. Like, they're putting their lives at risk. And you know what? Can we just take a moment to just be like, thank you?
Yeah, thank you.
Like,
doctors, surgeons, all this. You're doing a brilliant job. Please
thank
don't.
you so much.
Yeah, please don't get the virus, because we need you. It's just a really weird world we're living in. Like, subconsciously, I didn't mean to, but like, subconsciously when I was taking the bins out, there's the people with the oil tanker and whatnot outside, because here we've got like oil-based heating, so we fill up like an oil tank and it heats the house. And I kind of like veered away from them with the bins, and I was just like, why does the world feel the way it is?
Thank you, bin men, too.
Yeah, I mean, you're where a lot of the germs are, so thanks.
I'm not gonna pretend I'm not. I'm bricking it, man. Like, I'm pretty sure you are.
Oh right,
sure
bricking it.
well.
Oh right, I see. I thought you were saying breaking it, but I was just like, oh, it's kind of the same thing.
No, as in I'm shitting myself.
But yeah, it's just it's just weird. The majority of the time, I am just inside working, but now it's just this, like, when you're like dedicated to doing something and you've got loads of energy to do it, your body kind of feels very solid. You're just like, right, I know what I'm doing. I'm feeling happy doing it. But whenever there's something on your mind, it feels like you're kind of floating and you're not quite grasped.
Yeah, I get that.
And that's what it is right now.
Well, it's because nobody knows what's going on, so there's this constant feeling of drifting everywhere. Like, everyone's just kind of like drifting in uncertainty, and it's, like, if there's any solace, and the reason why I put like that little slogan in the end of my video is because I truly believe that we are isolated, but like none of us are alone. All of us are fucking going through this.
Yeah.
Right? And screw it, man. We're all in the same boat, and as I said before, we're gonna get through it.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be rough and it's gonna be scary, but we're gonna get through it.
Yeah. One other little thing just to add as well, just in terms of documentation, is you know how YouTube is just terrible anyway. You know how back when the whole the copper thing. I wish we were like worried about that.
Yeah, or Brexit.
Yeah, I want to go back to when we were worrying about Brexit and copper. Like, YouTube had their automated thing, where it would like analyze things and be like, this is bright and colourful, so therefore this is for children. If you do it wrong, here's a $42,000 fine or whatever it was. I mean, they can't find me. They don't even have my credit card details, but sure. Like, they have their automated system, and that got sorted in a way that, bright and colourful things wouldn't automatically be deemed as, child-friendly and all this and whatnot. But now that the coronavirus thing is happening, it's not bots who are operating that part of YouTube, it's people. And when people aren't there to work, YouTube kicks in their automated system. So a lot of people, in the case of what I've seen, some animators on YouTube, a lot of their videos aren't available and they've been outright deleted because YouTube's automated system has come along and said, this is bright and colourful, this is for kids, you've said it's not for kids, so bye your video. And people's livelihoods online are being affected now as well. And it's weird how much a disease caused by eating bats has pretty much brought the world to, and forgive me for dramatizing this a bit, but it's kind of right, the point of like being in wartime.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was the French president was talking about, like, I was watching, I've been doing nothing but watching the fucking news, but like, Macron can't stand his policies, but he had a good point when he was talking about the fact that it feels like we're at war.
It does, yeah.
Was an invisible enemy.
Yeah. Like I think the most vicious kind of virus that obviously I wasn't in my lifetime, but like the world has kind of gone through was the Spanish flu. Was that 19? I don't remember what one that was. It was like 1918 or something. But like,
Maybe. I think so.
I don't think the coronavirus is as bad as that, but the world feels like it was back then. You know, you can't go out. I mean, it's gone now from what I've seen pictures of, because Emily's parents went to do a shop last night. Barely got anything, but like managed to get some essentials. It's gone from being toilet rolls and pasta to being pretty much everything. You know, you can't. If you want to figure out what was on that shelf, you have to look at the tiny tag.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you were still working in Tesco at this time?
Oh God, like as I was saying before, in terms of retail, like, you know, those people are probably still going to be the last people who are allowed to go home, because you know, I would be in the midst of it right now, which is why I'm so sympathetic to people who are going through that, because yeah, that would petrify me.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to go back to the point in time back in 2017 when your main kind of like, you know, negative thought was, oh, why am I stacking all this dog food? God, it smells bad. Do you want to go back to that?
It's better than fearing for the lives of your loved ones.
Yeah.
I think I somewhat brushed on it earlier in this conversation, but I just want to reiterate how angry I am that it's taken this long for like universities to close. Like, it's not the university's fault. They're just kind of following, you know, governmental advice. It's the, like, you know, I have to commute every day to university, which means I need to take the train, which puts me at risk of catching the virus, considering the fact that York is connected to the AYIR, and obviously London being the capital of Britain, major metropolitan area.
Exactly.
It's connected to all sorts of major metropolitan areas. Like, I am at risk by just being on that train of catching the virus. Now, luckily, I feel alright, but I feel like I've just kind of escaped through the skin of my teeth.
Exactly, yeah. Like, you don't, like, you know, a couple of weeks ago, we went into Canterbury. Everything felt great. You know, we were doing stuff, whatever, that's fine. The only kind of thought on our mind was, let's wash our hands before we go into this big shopping centre. But now it's like this thing of, when you get out of that place, when you get off the bus and come into your own house, you think, oh, that was close. You know, it's like Indiana Jones grabbing your hat as you come under. You're like, I'm fine now, I hope. And you kind of have this weird, like, shivery feeling of just like, oh, that was weird. But, like, yeah, it's very strange. It's very strange.
Part of me, I'm so conflicted on this, because I also want to kind of, because cafes and pubs, they haven't shut down, and obviously no one's going to them. And part
Exactly,
of me wants to go, but I'm not sure whether or not it's the responsible thing to do. Like, you know, I'm so conflicted, and I'm pretty sure everybody else is right now.
Yeah, because the tapas place, just over the road from Emily's bookshop, that's closed down now as well. You know, so it is a lot
Are we supposed to just stay inside forever? Like, is this how we live then?
I think, and it brings me back to, just to bring on some light onto this whole thing, I'll let you get on what you were saying before, after, but like, yeah, when Carl Pilkington was talking about, like, you know, quarantines and stuff, and he was like, we're just one step away from being mole-ish.
True.
They were like, what do you mean mole-ish? It's like living underground, not being able to go outside. And then obviously in old Carl fashion, he was like, I don't bloody care, I want to go out and get a tin of beans.
Oh, God.
But yeah, like I say, we're living in a weird Black Mirror episode, so... You know.
Yeah.
Wash your hands, everyone!
Why can't it be San Junipero that we're living in? As a cool Black Mirror episode, we got 80s aesthetics, and cool music, and fast cars.
Can we live in Kung Fury?
That would be actually preferable, actually. I'd love to live in Kung Fury.
Yeah. And on a good note, I had Emily watch that the other week, and she loved it.
Oh, what do you think?
And she thought it was brilliant. There was a lot of, like, very confused, but, like, very, like, happy looks of, like, wait, what? Oh, okay, there's a dinosaur with, what was it, Barbariana on the back with a, like, Viking helmet and a minigun.
What year is this? It's the Viking Age.
That explains the laser raptor.
I love that goddamn movie. I'm pretty sure there's a sequel.
There is, and it's going to be, like, all big budget, which has me both loving that idea, but also kind of worried. Because I feel like they're going to recast Kung Fury to be like Nicolas Cage.
To be fair, I'd be kind of fine with that.
Yeah, as long as they bring back David Hasselhoff to do the soundtrack.
Yeah, and Triceratops is his psychic.
Yeah.
And Thor with his massive pecs.
Okay, on that note of Giant Thor with his great pecs, wash your hands, stay safe, stay inside, as bleak as that sounds.
Take care.
Yeah.
Yeah, just this is crap. Just keep your chins up as much as you can, because it's the most we can do, right?
Yeah.